Well, when I lived in media, I was doing hot rods and had a 35 Ford that I really liked. So when the Navy told me my ship was going to be dry docked in Pearl Harbor, I said, 2 years. I thought, terrific. Yeah. They decommissioned me and I had to go get a job. So I got a job at General Motors and ran instructions and packaging and really fell in love with it.
I got started pretty early. I had an extra baby in 1948, 49. I had one of the first MGTCs in the Bay Area. And I found it pretty service shop. I was doing it pretty close to my grammar school, so every afternoon I would go there and hang out in the garage, wipe down tools, and sort of forward stuff just to be around the guys that were building these first to go racing. So then I started forever. That's just my life.
Now, Pete, I had a question last night I wanted to ask you, and we didn't have a chance. Can we put that, Andrew, put that slideshow up on the, one of the things, you get a lot of recognition for the design of the Cobra and other things, but a lot of people don't realize that you actually created the brand of Cobra. I mean, the ads, the shirts, I'm sure more than one person today is wearing this t-shirt. All of that was your design. In fact, you even said the quilted jacket. You designed that. And on the slideshow here, you can see examples of the posters and the logos and the ads that you did for Shelby American. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came about to do that?
Well, I went to work originally for Carol and get a ride driving Cobras because that was my real goal to be a race driver. But my schooling had been at the Art Center College of Design in Los Angeles and I had a background, of course, in graphic design, automotive design. So when I went to work for Carol, I never told them that I'd been a designer. All I wanted to do was drive race cars. But when the opportunity started to come up and the company started to get larger, we had to design stationery, we had to have business cards, we had to have t-shirts, we had to do advertising for the cars and everything. So I sort of took that job over on my own and created the image for Carol. So designed the original logo for the state, and of course Carol Shelby emblem on there. I actually designed that logo for the Riverside Race, so everything that was surrounding it. We're a lot of people who are involved in the graphic design area and racing business, and it just seemed like a natural thing for me to do. And a lot of it.
Thank you. Chuck, how was the name GT350 decided on? Where did that come from?
Well, the story is that I heard it collaborated with the Shelby and a couple of people that were close to him. Then was that he had go in and so his office talking about what are you going to name this car? And it was Shelby Mustang, what we called it initially. And somebody had a bright idea and looking out the window at the other Carter Street building, which is the second building in the town. And that's still, how far is it to that building? And it's 300, some number like that. And Shelby apparently said, what do you call it? It used to be big. That's how the thing came about. I haven't heard that disputed by anybody yet.
Yeah,
That's the story.
Carol was a very impatient person. He didn't want to sit around meetings or anything like that. So when a question like that came up, you just asked that question. How far is it over that building over there? 350 feet. Fine, that's the name.
Well, Roy, how did the name Viper come about? And is it true that the Viper itself was the result of a cup holder?
Well, Chrysler Engineering is very good, not really pronounced as a magazine. So, Lee Coker was somewhat upset that Chrysler had won a world-class cup holder award. Nothing else but cup holders. So he wanted something that would make more of a statement, and so that's the concept of the Viper and being powerful. And but when he took the first ride, he said, had a cigar, and there's a small little ashtray in the Viper. If you look at the center console, there's a small little ashtray, and he said, that's a pretty damn small ashtray. How come? He said, well, it came from the rear door of a K car. He said, don't let any son of a bitch change it. So that's how we got that. But the name Viper was supposedly Bob Lutz on a napkin at a dinner with Carol Shelby. And we were talking about snakes, and up popped the name Viper. And that sounded pretty good.
Yeah, that's great, man. Peter, you just mentioned Carol. A lot of people have referred to Carol Shelby as Billy Saul, and reference to Billy Saul Esby's, the notorious drifter from the '60s. And you actually wrote in your book, although the Shelby American Racing Team believed in itself from the beginning, it wasn't so sure it always believed in Shelby. Our relationship with the charismatic Texan was still too new to inspire complete confidence. Was he a grifter or a genius?
He was both. He was probably one of the most complex characters I've ever worked for. And we had a lot of arguments, what we did on it. But we accomplished a lot. It wasn't all totally straight, but that was Carroll. He's just the guy that he was. And I think everybody that ever got ripped off on it sort of just forgave him because he was Carroll. He could get away with anything.
Yeah. But Chuck, when Ford approached Carroll Shelby with the order to make the secretary's car, that was how the Mustang was viewed in those days, into a race winner, what was the reaction? This was a huge task. How did a small operation like Shelby American scale up to handle that?
Well, the first reaction Shelby had to that question was, no, I'm not interested. It's just too complex and too much to anticipate. Coco reminded him of piece of light motors with Cobras, and really he won Shelby over. And Shelby get together with the SCCA and iron out some specifications for the car that would fit the production car and be a Mustang. The Mustang fastback wasn't out yet. It wasn't due until 9 months. And they used that car. It was different than the notchback and more sporty. And so he talked them into it. Now, as far as putting an organization together, Johnny had his own organization and built Cobras and so forth. But this was the Mustang Challenge was going to be to build a lot more cars and maybe a different setup. And so it took a lot of support from Ford. Rick Emerson Special Vehicles had an assistant, Sam Smith, whose job was to coordinate between Shelby and Ford in this Mustang effort. And he ended up, to begin with, they hired 3 or 4 key people. Bruce Ritter came on for building and facilities and operations. Hired Jack Corey from Chevrolet for the production manager. Hired me from GM, he's an engineer, and then one of the ladies from the personnel from Fremont and Chevrolet. I got her to put together a few people and start a personnel department because they were going to need a couple hundred people and needed to have some structure with benefits and salary and that kind of stuff. So you got, so all this is, we started and then it sort of grew and people were staffed and hired more people. Eventually we had a large enough organization to do the job.
You know, I think that what I remember most about the team was the overall impression of the ideas of what they thought of themselves as a team downstairs, because we'd all been building over from the day-go and that sort of thing. So they obviously came up that we're going to work on Mustangs. These guys all prided themselves on being race car mechanics, and they said they just damn well aren't going to work on some damn sedan, you know. They actually took all that talent and put it in it and built it with Chuck, of course, directing and building a great race car out of it. But that was not the impression. They were not very happy about the idea that they were going to take this secretary's car and make a race car out of it.
It was, speaking of the team, Roy, you actually instituted the platform team concept at Chrysler, and it was so radical that you actually had to get a pilot agreement with the UAW to allow that integration. And tell us about that. You had like an open office area, and how did that work? How did you get that implemented?
A lot of liquor. At that time, the head of the UAW for Highland Park was Derek Fury, and we were off at a seminar together, having a little more bourbon than we should. And I said, Derek, I've got this wild idea about we're going to set up a skunk works, and we don't need any union rules. And he came up with the idea that we're going to a pilot, and you be the steward, and shop steward, and the pilot won't set precedents. So as long as you're off of another building, we'll be okay. So the Viper started out in what was a food fair, former food fair, grocery store warehouse. And that was sort of negative, but the positive was it had 2 large coolers that we could lock up at night, so our high performance stuff wouldn't get stolen. And that worked out pretty well. But the UAW was very cooperative, and we worked hand in hand, no rules, and never had a grievance until we went full production. So that worked out well. And I was able to get cross discipline. We had manufacturing, we had purchasing, we had financial, we had engineering, all in one room. And when we first got in the room at the former warehouse, all the desks were on the periphery of the room, and all the desks faced the walls. And my administrative assistant, Lydia Fleming, said at 6 weeks, she said, did I notice what happened? And I said, no. She said, the last desk turned around. And we were all looking at each other. No offices, no walls. We all looked at each other. And that really bonded the two.
I just wanted to comment about working at unions. When I worked at General Motors as a designer, it was interesting because the only people within General Motors that were in the union were the designers. And we'd always, not always, but occasionally, we'd have a UA rep come in and sit us down wanting us to all join the union. And their big thing was like, they'd tell us how many days off that we got, and how we could add extra sick days in there, and you wouldn't have to work, and if it would pay us more money. And we told them, look, we work here for nothing. We work here because we love working here. And they never organized us, and took a lot of pride in that, because they just didn't understand that we built our own deal with the passion of doing it, not because we were going to get paid.
Well, with that corporate thought in mind, Chuck, your first few weeks with Shelby weren't even in Los Angeles. So they were in Detroit where you analyzed the changes